Alcohol is often sold as a way to relax, to unwind, to celebrate. But what they don't tell you is what's really happening inside your brain every time you take a drink. What seems like a moment of relief, a temporary escape from stress, is actually your mind being rewired. Your ability to think, to make decisions, to control your impulses, all being chipped away bit by bit. It doesn't happen all at once. It's slow, gradual. You don't even realize it. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. The first thing alcohol does is disrupt the brain's natural balance. Your brain operates through chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These control how you think, how you react, how you regulate emotions. Alcohol doesn't enhance these systems. It throws them off. That's why in the moment you might feel more confident or relaxed, but it's artificial. It's a chemical trick, and once that wears off, you're left worse than before, more anxious, more irritable, more out of control. Your brain is the most powerful tool you have. It controls how you think, how you react, how you push forward in life. But what happens when something starts interfering with that? What happens when, little by little, your ability to think clearly, to control your emotions, to make smart decisions gets thrown off balance? That's exactly what alcohol does. It doesn't just affect you in the moment, it rewires your mind, making it harder for you to function at your highest level. At first, alcohol might feel like a stress reliever. It might seem like it's helping you relax, making you more confident, taking the edge off after a long day. But what it's really doing is disrupting the natural balance of chemicals in your brain. Your mind operates on a delicate system of neurotransmitters. These are the messengers that regulate your mood, your focus, your self-control. Alcohol throws those messengers into chaos. That's why you feel different when you drink, why your thoughts slow down, why your reactions aren't as sharp. It's not just a buzz, it's an imbalance. And the worst part? Your brain starts adapting to this disruption. The more you drink, the more your brain tries to compensate. It adjusts by producing less of the chemicals that make you feel good naturally. That means over time, you don't just need alcohol to feel relaxed, you start needing it just to feel normal. That's how dependence begins. Not because you're weak, not because you lack discipline, but because your brain has been thrown so far off balance that it craves the very thing that's damaging it. Think about what that means for your future. Every decision you make, every goal you set, every challenge you face, it all depends on your ability to think clearly and stay in control of yourself. But if alcohol is constantly interfering with that, how much of your potential are you really tapping into? How many opportunities are slipping away because your mind isn't as sharp as it could be? Success, growth, and resilience all require a strong mind. And a strong mind needs balance, discipline, and clarity, things alcohol only takes away. If you want to take control of your life, you have to take control of your mind first. And that means protecting it from anything that weakens it. The real power isn't in escaping reality for a few hours. It's in facing it head on with the strength, focus, and determination that comes from a mind in balance. Self-betrayal is one of the most powerful traits a person can have. It's the ability to resist temptation, to stay focused, to choose what's right over what's easy. But here's the thing, self-betrayal isn't just a switch you turn on and off. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, if you don't use it, it gets weaker. The more you give in to impulses, the harder it becomes to resist them in the future. That's exactly what happens when alcohol enters the picture. It doesn't just affect you for a night. It gradually rewires how you handle decisions, emotions, and discipline. The first few drinks might feel harmless, but over time, your ability to say no starts to slip. Your standards shift. What used to be a limit now becomes a habit. What used to be a small indulgence now feels like a necessity. This is how people lose control, slowly, gradually, without even realizing it's happening. Impulse control is the foundation of success. It's what separates people who chase quick gratification from those who build lasting achievements. Every great accomplishment, whether it's financial success, personal growth, or physical health depends on the ability to resist distractions and stay focused on long-term goals. But if alcohol is constantly weakening that ability, what happens to your future? What happens to your discipline, your work ethic, your vision for a better life? The scary part is that most people don't even notice the decline. They brush it off, they tell themselves they're still in control, but every time they choose the easy road, every time they give in to an impulse instead of standing firm, they lose a little more power over themselves. And eventually they wake up one day realizing they're not driving their life anymore, their impulses are. Regaining control isn't about making one big change. It's about the small, consistent decisions you make every single day. It's about choosing discipline over comfort, clarity over escape, and strength over indulgence. You don't build a powerful life by giving into every impulse. You build it by mastering yourself, by proving over and over again that you're stronger than the temptations trying to pull you off track. Emotional resilience is what keeps a person standing when life throws its hardest punches. It's the ability to handle stress, to adapt, to push forward, even when things feel impossible. It's what separates those who crumble under pressure from those who rise above it. But here's what most people don't realize. Resilience isn't just about willpower. It's about how you train your mind to respond to challenges. And when alcohol enters the picture, that training gets weaker. At first, it might seem like alcohol helps. It numbs the pain, takes the edge off, makes problems feel smaller, but that relief is temporary. And every time someone reaches for a drink, instead of facing their emotions head on, they're chipping away at their own strength. Instead of learning how to navigate stress, they're avoiding it. Instead of building endurance, they're choosing escape. Over time, that pattern becomes dangerous, because the truth is, life doesn't get easier. There will always be setbacks, disappointments, and struggles. And the only way to truly overcome them is by developing the emotional toughness to handle them, not by running from them. Alcohol doesn't make problems disappear. It just makes people temporarily forget about them. But those problems are still there, waiting, growing, and getting harder to face. And as reliance on alcohol increases, emotional resilience declines. The ability to deal with stress weakens. Confidence in handling life's challenges fades. And suddenly, even small problems start to feel overwhelming because the mind has lost its ability to stand strong without a crutch. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who face struggle without backing down. They understand that pain, disappointment, and failure are all part of the process. They don't mask their emotions. They master them. They don't numb their minds. They train them. True resilience comes from standing firm in the face of adversity, learning from it, and coming out stronger on the other side. And that kind of strength doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from within. The brain is the most powerful tool a person has. It controls thoughts, decisions, emotions, and the ability to grow and improve. It's what allows someone to learn, adapt, and push forward in life. But what happens when that tool starts shrinking? What happens when the very thing that determines success, happiness, and purpose begins to deteriorate because of a choice that seemed harmless at first? That's exactly what long-term alcohol use does. It slowly takes away the sharpness, the clarity, and the strength of the mind. At first, it's barely noticeable, maybe a little forgetfulness, a little trouble focusing, some difficulty making decisions. But over time, those small changes add up. Studies have shown that long-term alcohol use physically shrinks the brain, especially in areas responsible for memory, reasoning, and self-retrude. This means that the more someone drinks, the harder it becomes to think clearly, to make good choices, to stay disciplined. And when those abilities weaken, success in life becomes harder to achieve. Imagine trying to run a race while wearing heavier and heavier weights. At first, it might not seem like much, but eventually every step becomes a struggle. That's what alcohol does to the brain. It weighs it down, slows it down, and makes it harder to perform at the highest level. And the worst part? Most people don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. The ability to think, to create, to solve problems, that's what separates those who thrive from those who struggle. No one reaches their full potential by dulling their greatest asset. No one achieves greatness by weakening the very thing that makes success possible. Life is already full of challenges, and facing them with a strong, healthy mind is the only way to win. Strength isn't just about physical power, it's about mental power. It's about keeping the mind sharp, clear, and focused. It's about making decisions that lead to growth, not decline. The choice is simple. Either protect and strengthen the mind or allow it to shrink and fade away. Because at the end of the day, success belongs to those who refuse to hold themselves back. Alcohol has a way of making promises it never keeps. It offers relief, escape, and a moment of ease, but what it actually delivers is something far worse. A cycle of dependency that traps people in a loop they never intended to be in. What starts as a way to relax or cope with stress slowly becomes something the mind and body start to rely on. And once that happens, breaking free feels like an impossible task. At first it seems harmless, a drink here, a drink there, just to take the edge off. But then life throws challenges, stress piles up, and suddenly that drink starts feeling like the easiest way to handle it all. The brain begins to associate alcohol with relief, with comfort, with escape, and before long it's no longer a choice, it's a habit. One that steals energy, clarity, and control. The worst part is that dependency doesn't always look the way people think it does. It's not just about addiction. It's about the slow loss of power over one's own life. It's about relying on something external to feel okay instead of building inner strength to face life head on. And the deeper someone falls into that cycle, the harder it becomes to break free. Success in life requires discipline, clear thinking, and the ability to push through tough moments without needing a crutch. Every time a person reaches for alcohol, instead of finding real solutions, they weaken that ability. The cycle continues. Stress, drink, regret, repeat, and each time the mind and body grow more dependent, more used to the easy way out instead of the right way forward. But here's the truth. Breaking free is possible. It starts with a decision. A refusal to let anything have power over one's life. It starts with recognizing that strength comes from facing struggles, not numbing them. The most successful people in the world aren't those who escape their problems. They are the ones who confront them, learn from them, and grow stronger because of them. That kind of power is available to anyone willing to take back control. Step out of the cycle and build a life that isn't dependent on anything but their own strength and determination. And here's the most dangerous part. It creates a cycle. The more you drink, the more your brain gets used to it. The more you feel like you need it, it becomes a crutch. You don't just drink to celebrate, you drink because you don't feel right without it. That's addiction. Not just physical dependency, but a psychological trap. It convinces you that you need alcohol to have fun, to relax, to be yourself. But in reality, all it's doing is robbing you of the strength, the discipline, the clarity that makes you who you are. So if you think alcohol is just a harmless way to unwind, think again. It's not about judging anyone for having a drink. It's about understanding what's really happening behind the scenes. Your brain is your most powerful tool, the thing that determines your future, your success, your ability to overcome life's challenges. And if something is actively damaging that, why keep feeding it? The strongest people in this world, the ones who truly excel, are those who have control over their own minds. And that kind of control doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from clarity, discipline, and the courage to face life head on.